Hi, how are you? I'm Marwa, math teacher. Let's understand the cube root of a rational number. In this video, we will understand what is the cube root, what is the rational number, and how can we get the cube root of a rational number without using a calculator. At the beginning, we have to remember what is the cube of a number. It's completely different about the cube root, which is our lesson. What is the cube of a number? Look at this box. This box looks like a cube, and you studied previously in the cube all faces are squares, and we know in the square all sides are equal. So in the cube all edges are equal in length. If we said that this edge equal 2 centimeters, one of these edges is 2 centimeters, it means that each edge equal 2 centimeters. To get the volume of the cube or the volume of this box, we multiply side times side times side. Why side times side times side? Because all edges are equal, which is length, width, and height. So we will replace each side by 2. 2 times 2 times 2 equals 8. You studied previously also that if we have a number multiplied by itself several times, we can replace it using a short way, which is power. So number 2 is repeated 3 times or multiplied by itself 3 times, so we can write it as 2 to the power 3. To read this number, we read it as 2 cubed. Why 2 cubed? Because the number 2 is multiplied by itself 3 times to get the volume of the cube, which is 8. So we read the third power or power 3 as cubed. Now, if we said that 2 to the power 3 equals 8. We have the volume, but we don't know the side. Now, we want to know what is the number which multiplied by itself 3 times to get number 8. In this case, we will use the inverse operation of the power, which is root. So the root is the inverse operation of the power. As the addition, its inverse operation is minus or the opposite one, and multiplication, its inverse is division. The power, its inverse operation is root. This is the sign of the root. According to the power, we have roots. If we have 3 to the power 2, in this case we have square root. We don't write any numbers above the square root. We just leave it as it is. But if we have 4 to the power 3, this is cubed. In this case, the inverse operation of this power is the cube root. It is the same sign, but we write the power above it. If we have 5 to the 4th power, so the inverse operation of this power is 4th root. According to the power, we have roots, but generally the root is the inverse operation of the power. Now, in our lesson here, we just focus on the third power or the cubed. So if we have 8 and we want to know what is the number which multiplied by itself 3 times to get 8, we will use the opposite operation of this power, which is cube root. We transfer the power to the other side, so we cancel it from this side. Cube root of the number 8 is 2, so the number is 2. Now we understood what is the cube root. We understood the cube root of a number. What is the rational number? The rational number is any number can be written in the form of the fraction, which is a over b, where b not equals to 0. So any number can be written in the form of a fraction. It's called a rational number. Now we understood what is the cube root and what is the rational number. Let's take a simple note. The cube root of a number a is the number whose cube equals a. Where a is any number. If we have number 4, when we cube this number, it will be 64. So if you'd like to inverse this operation, we will use the cube root. So the cube root of number 64 is 4. The cube root of any number has the same sign of this number. If we have number 5 cubed, what 5 cubed means? It means that the number 5 is multiplied by itself 3 times, so 5 times 5 times 5 equals 125. If the number is positive, it will be also positive. But what will happen if we have negative 5 to the power 3. Negative 5 to the power 3, it means that the number negative 5 is multiplied by itself 3 times. Negative 5 times negative 5 times negative 5, which is equal negative 125. Because if we multiply negative times negative equal positive, and we still have a negative, so positive times negative equal negative. So in the cube root, in the cubed, if we have negative number, the cubed number will be also negative. And if the number is positive, therefore the cubed number also will be positive. It is the same as the cube root. We said previously that the cube root is the inverse operation of the powers, so we don't have negative 5. We want to know what is the number which multiplied by itself 3 times to get 125. We will use the inverse operation of the power, third power, which is the cube root. And we cancel the power from the other side. So the number which multiplied by itself 3 times to get 125 is 5. And it will be positive because positive times positive times positive equals positive. Here we have negative number. So to get the number, we will also use the inverse operation of the cubed or the third power, which is the cube root. So, and cancel the power from the other side. So what is the number which is multiplied by itself 3 times to get negative 125? We can say 5 times 5 times negative 5 because they aren't the same number. We must have the same numbers, so it means that all numbers are negative, so the number is negative 5. So we can say that the cube root of any number has the same sign of this number. If we have a positive number, then this number will also be positive, and if we have a negative number, therefore the number will be also negative. Cubic root of a power n equals a to the power n over 3. Let's understand this note. If we have cube root of 4 to the power 9, or make it to the power 6. If we expand this number, it will be 4 to the power 6. It will be cube root of 4 times 4 times 4 times 4 times 4 times 4, 6 times. It's a cube root. It means that the number multiplied by itself 3 times, so we just take only one of them. So we'll take just only 1 4 from these 3 4s and another 1 4 from all 3 4s. So we have 2 4s which multiply together, so the answer will be 4 to the power 2. So the cube root of the number 4 to the power 6 is 4 to the power 2. It's the same as if we said that 4 equals 6 over 3. It is the same as if we divided the power of the number by the number of root, So we can say 6 over 3, it gives us 4 power 2. It's also if we have cube root of 3 to the power 9, we will divide 9 by 3, the power inside the root, by the number of roots, so 9 over 3 equals 3 to the power 3, and so on. If we have cube root of number 4 to the power 3, we will divide it also the power inside the root by the power outside the root by the number of root, so it will 3 over 3, which is equal 1. In another word, we can cancel the power by the root. Now we understood what is the cube root, what is the rational number. Now we have to know how can we get the cube root of a rational number or of any number without using a calculator. To get the number 27. Now we want to find the number which multiplied by itself 3 times to get 27, so we will use the cube root. How can we get this number? Simply, we will use the factorization. Do you remember the factorize? We use the prime number. What is the prime number which we will use? We will use a prime number which is 2, 3, 5, 7. The prime numbers, any number, have just only 2 factors, which is 1 and itself. 2, 3, 5, 7, 11, 13, and so on. But usually we use just only 5 numbers. So number 27, we will try to factorize it. What's meaning with factorize it? It means that we will divide it by one of these prime numbers. So 27 is 27. This sign, it means divided. Is 27 divisible by 2? Of course not. We don't have any number in table 2 gives us 27. So it isn't divisible. We can't use it. Let's try number 3. 27 divided by 3. Is 27 divisible by 3? Of course, yes. 27 divided by 3 equals 9. And we know that 9 is divisible also by 3, which is 3. And 3 divisible by 3, it's equal to 1. We reach to this one. So now number 3 is multiplied by itself 3 times 3 times 3 times 3 to get the number 27. So the cube root of the number 27 is 3. We just take only one 3 from these 3. Let's take another one. Cubic root of 8 over 125. Now we have a rational number, we have fractions. We will factorize the numerator and after that the denominator. Let's try 8 divisible by 2. We can divide 8 by 2, which is equal 4, and divide it by 2 another time to get 2. 2 divided 2 equals 1. We get 1 at the end of the factorization. Now we have 3 2's. We will just take only 1 2 from these 3 2's. So the cube root of 8 is 2. 125, we studied previously that any number, its unit is 5. It's divisible directly by 5. So 125, we can divide it using 5. It will be 25. And of course, the unit is 5. So the number 25 is divisible by 5. Divided 5 equals 1. We reach to the 1 at the end of the factorization. Number 5 is multiplied by itself 3 times, so the cube root of 125 is 5.